an Amazon River tributary in Brazil, later renamed Rio Roosevelt. Still suffering fevers from his time in Cuba during the Spanish-American War, Roosevelt became so ill during the 4-month expedition that he begged Kermit to leave him behind. But his son, who accompanied him at Edith's insistence, refused. TR survived, barely, but his health was never the same. Quentin's departure for college in 1915 was hard on his parents. I am a little sad to think that the last of the boys has taken the first step of entrance to the grey world, Edith wrote to Kermit. She thought of getting TR to take them on a trip to distract them, but decided against the idea, because he does like his own Sagamore Hill. Poor lamb. Roosevelt supported Henry Cabot Lodge for the Republican nomination in the 1916 presidential election after refusing it for himself. The Republicans nominated Supreme Court Justice Charles Evans Hughes instead. The Progressive Party did nominate TR, who declined in a telegram from Oyster Bay. Wilson was elected for a second term. When World War I had erupted in Europe in 1914, TR had been convinced the United States would not be able to stay out of it and lobbied for a buildup of American forces and a place in them for himself. Those who agreed with TR on the folly of isolationism gravitated to Sagamore Hill, causing Edith to grumble to Kermit, I can't quite keep up with the pace. Ethel and Richard Derby did not wait for the United States to get into the war. They volunteered in 1914 and were assigned to the American Ambulance Hospital in France in the fall. Ethel served as a nurse. She returned home first so she could care for their son, Richard Derby Jr., who had been born on March 7, 1914, and left in the care of Theodore and Edith, and to give birth to daughter Edith in June 1917. Ted's wife Eleanor also went to France as the first woman to be sent overseas by the YMCA. She organized canteens for men on leave. As for TR, the old Rough Rider believed that he had one more fight in him. When the United States entered the war in the spring of 1917, Roosevelt traveled to Washington, D.C. to ask Wilson to allow him to raise a volunteer division to the fight in France. TR, who had criticized the president's reticence to intervene in Europe, was rebuffed. 2 days later, about 20 of his most active supporters, including several former Rough Riders such as Seth Bullock, sheriff of Deadwood, South Dakota, and former Secretary of War Henry L. Stetson, gathered in the North Room to mark the end of their planning. While TR remained on the sidelines, all 4 of his sons would serve, with dire and in one case tragic consequences. Ted and Archie signed up in the summer of 1917 to serve as officers under the American commander in France, General John J. Pershing, while Kermit secured a staff position with the British in Mesopotamia, now Iraq. Quentin, 19, enlisted in the Army's Air Wing, and after his piloting training on Long Island, prepared to ship out for Europe. On the night before his departure, Edith went up to his bedroom as usual to tuck him in. They still enjoyed reading fairy tales together. They have all gone away from the house on the hill, Edith wrote. In keeping with the custom of other families with sons fighting, the Roosevelts hoisted a flag with 4 stars, one for each of the boys.